So you want to code but have no idea how to get started? Well, you've come to the right place. Today I'll show you 3 ways in which ChatGPT can help you learn to code faster. I'm Samanvay, a data scientist living in Sydney, Australia. I learned how to code in my first job, and it was an absolute game changer for the rest of my career. Coding allowed me to build whatever software tool I could think of, and it kicked off my data science career. Funnily enough, my first programming language was Ruby, but then shortly after I moved on to Python, which is something I've been using ever since. Learning Python is crucial if you want to work in data science. Now let's talk about the 3 ways in which ChatGPT can help us learn to program in Python faster. So the number 1 way it can help us is in curating a specific and personalized study plan for your needs. Then the second way is to give us project ideas and boilerplate code to start practicing everything we'll learn in our personalized study plan. Then the final way in which it can help is in troubleshooting problems you face in your coding journey. And these are essentially the 3-step process into learning any coding language. Today I'll mostly talk about Python, but you can apply this to any coding language. Now that's enough talking to the camera. Now let's go onto the computer and try out ChatGPT and see how these 3 steps play out. So I'm at my desk, I've got ChatGPT on, and let's try the first way in which ChatGPT can help you to learn to code faster. So we're gonna ask ChatGPT for a 4-week Python study plan using videos. So videos is really how I like to learn. Let's just ask it that. So usually for these queries, I like to keep it fairly short and simple. I would like to learn how to code in Python. Suggest me a 4-week study plan using YouTube videos. I have never coded before. All right, let's see what it's going to come up with. Great. Awesome. So we're getting day-by-day breakdown with suggestions on specific videos from YouTube, actually. So we can see we've got day 1 start with an introduction to Python concepts and Python syntax. So we definitely see quite a variety of videos. So most of the videos are coming from Corey Schaefer. So great to see a mix of courses right here from all over YouTube, which is pretty awesome. So that's a pretty effective program. We've got 4 weeks here. We are going through the introduction of Python basics, data structures and file handling. Then we're moving on to object-oriented programming and web development with Flask, which is pretty awesome. It's actually a pretty good study plan. I like the fact that ChatGPT actually cares about your weekends. It's only given you about 5 days of coding a week, which is very, very generous. Yeah, I mean, this is a pretty good course, but what if I decided that I wanted a mix of blog posts and YouTube videos? So let's get it to generate us a study plan with a mix of blog posts and YouTube videos. So I'll basically repeat the same query. So I would like to learn how to code in Python. Suggest me a 4-week study plan using a mix of blog posts and YouTube videos. Awesome. It's interesting how it's actually alternating between reading a blog post and watching a video. I would have thought that it would actually give us a blog post and a video for each of the days. But of course, we can definitely customize the query to actually get us a result like this. What we could try is, let's take a look at whether or not these videos actually exist. I mean, it is a little bit annoying that we have to copy paste. Actually, I do wonder if we can include the video links. Include the YouTube video links in the suggestion above. Let's see if it can do that, because that'll be a game changer. We can click right straight from here and go on to the video. Amazing. It's going. Oh, awesome. That is really cool. Let's try one of these out. Oh, if I could click. Great.
Hey everyone. What?
Amazing. That's actually working pretty well, which is awesome. Let's take a look. Hold on a minute. It's actually...
My name's...
Wow, it's actually giving us the wrong links, which is surprising for ChatGPT. Well, actually, not too surprising. It's often... ChatGPT is known to hallucinate a little bit and give us the wrong links. So I think at this stage, you're probably better off just searching for these videos instead of getting ChatGPT to link you the videos. So let's take a look at these. And let's take a look at this one. Python programming for beginners. Python programming for beginners. Python programming for beginners by Corey Schaefer. That's interesting. So for beginner, we've got a couple of videos which is actually similar to it. So we've got Python tutorial for beginners right here, which should hopefully match closely with what we actually see right here. So let's take a look at this one actually. Python by programming. Okay, let's check this out. Python variable by Python variable. And we need to modify this a little bit. Okay, I mean, we're seeing some close examples. ChatGPT isn't getting the name exactly right. I'm not sure if this is because the title has changed over time or it's basically just putting together random pieces of data. But I mean, it's in the ballpark with what are the things you need to actually learn. The actual suggestions might not be the best, but it gives you the general gist of what you need to learn is actually pretty on point. You know, this is how I'd approach any programming where you're kind of looking at a Python programming for beginners video, which is going to cover a lot of things around variable data types, basic operations, conditionals, if-else, functions, input-output operations, data structures, which is awesome. Then you're looking at object-oriented programming, which is pretty great. I mean, honestly, within probably 3 weeks of doing these types of videos, you'll most likely be ready for doing your own projects. Which brings us to the second way in which ChatGPT can help you. So the best way of learning any coding language and really reinforcing your understanding of it is by doing projects. Now let's try to get GPT to help us generate some project ideas. I mean, if you're new to coding, it's a little bit hard to understand like what is a good project idea. So let's get ChatGPT to come up with some basic project ideas. Suggest me some Python projects to do to practice my coding skills. All right, let's see what it comes up with. Great. To-do list application, weather app, password generator, quiz game, web scraper. Actually, web scraper is pretty interesting. I've made quite a few of those when I was practicing how to code in Python. They're pretty cool. So the other ones are book catalog, currency converter, movie recommendation system, social media analyzer. That's actually pretty cool. I'm not really sure how many social media platforms actually give you access to APIs these days to be able to do things like this. I know back in the day, Facebook, Twitter, it was very easy to interface with the API for free. These days, I think a lot of those APIs are paid if they allow access at all. movie recommendation system, web scraper. I mean, out of these, web scraper is probably the one I would do. But to be honest, none of these really interest me. So you might also say that you actually have a particular hobby or interest that you might actually want to do a Python project in. So for me, I definitely love all things space related. So let's see if it can generate me some space themed project ideas. So let's just type in the same thing. Suggest me some Python projects that are space themed to practice my coding skills. All right. Ooh, that's some really interesting ones. Great space mission simulator, text-based simulator of a space mission where user can make decisions and navigate through different scenarios. Great. Oh, you've got some very interesting ones. You've got satellite tracker. Oh, that's something I've actually built before, albeit in MATLAB, but could be interesting making it in Python. We've also got a space weather monitor. Whoa, that's a very cool one. Amazing. So I think ChatGPT has done a very good job in suggesting us some very, very interesting types of space themed project. And similarly, you could do that for finance related projects, or it could be medical or health tech related projects. So I think ChatGPT is actually pretty good at generating these. Now you might say that, great, it's great that you get some ideas about some projects to do, but what if you have no idea where to get started? So this is where ChatGPT really shines. Not only can it give you project ideas, but it also gives you a way to approach them. So now let's say that I want to build a space weather monitor. So let's say I want to build a space weather monitor, but I'm not sure where to start. Can you suggest me an approach to build this application? All right, let's see what it can come up with. Okay, interesting. So great. First step is awesome, which is let's get a list of all the space weather data sources we've got available. Hopefully some of them are actually open source. Now we've got determine required data. Great. Narrow down the amount of data you need and what type of data you need. Then you've got it's pretty vague on some of these, where it's very generalistic. Choose programming tools and libraries, which is a bit vague. I mean, Python offers several libraries for working with APIs. Set up an API integration. Great. Data processing, you obtain the data. User interface, nice. And then you've got some plotting library suggestions, implementing notifications. I mean, for a project like this, all you need is really these. I mean, step 1 to 7. Everything else is a little bit of a add-on, really, except for maybe the deployment state, actually. But obviously, adding in test is always great. You've also got implementing notification. So it's great. ChatGPT is really thinking about the user when we're creating such an application, which is awesome. Now you might want to also use ChatGPT to dig deeper into each of these steps, which will allow you to unpack it. So you might say to me that, hey, actually, I don't know how to make an API integration in Python. I mean, we can just go ahead and ask ChatGPT to give us some boiler code to get you started. So how do I create an API integration in Python? Give me some starter code. Maybe I should have put a question mark in here, but that's all right. ChatGPT is smart enough to actually understand this. Great, so we've got some boiler code in making a request using the request library. So this is pretty on point, actually. You've got pretty standard code right here. This will work. This will definitely work, provided that you have a proper API URL with parameters and headers. And this is pretty good. Now you could even make this, make the boiler code above space related, just to see what it does. I'm curious more than anything else. Oh, amazing. So ChatGPT has actually gone ahead and made a space themed, specifically with space weather themed API right here by changing a couple of parameters here. But obviously this is going to change based on the data source you access. So hopefully from here you can see how easy it is to use ChatGPT to generate you some project ideas and give you some boiler code, which is pretty impressive if you ask me. I mean, this is something I never really had when I was learning to code, but this is making life so much easier, which is amazing to see. I mean, ChatGPT is just like your personal programming tutor, which is amazing. Now, the third way in which it can help you really level up your coding skills and learn coding faster is it being your personal AI tutor. When you're learning how to code and doing this project, you'll often be stuck with what to do when there's a particular error, or you don't know how to do something in Python. So something as simple as reading a CSV file. So let's say you don't really know how to do that. You can just ask ChatGPT, how do I read a CSV file in Python? Now, similarly, you can also ask it to make specific functions for things that you want to do. However, you should always be careful as to what ChatGPT is giving you, because a lot of the times ChatGPT can appear to be right because of its confidence in its responses, but you should always be very critical as to what it's giving you. Always question the code and make sure you always understand it before you paste it. I mean, this was also true before the days of ChatGPT when there was just Stack Overflow. Always the advice is when you're learning coding or taking a snippet of code from Stack Overflow, make sure to understand what you're pasting into your code. Always remember that in any coding job, in any data science job, you're being hired for your critical thinking skills, not only because you can code. Hopefully from the demo, you can see how easy it is to use ChatGPT as your own personal coding assistant. Not only can it design your study plans, but it can also help you find interesting projects to work on, as well as act as your troubleshooting guide. All the best for your coding journey ahead, and let me know if you have any other questions in the comment section below. So if you enjoyed the video, then smash the like button, and I'll see you next time.